Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Keireen wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Keireen's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a luck tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Eau Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. Here is the reverse grid then for race 3 here at Spa. Mark Nichol is on pole position in his Renault Megane next to Rob Pellet in the first of the Elite Racing Nissan GTRs. Row 2 is Stephen Heath in the Subaru WRX next to Tom Foster in the first of the K-Tech Subaru WRXs. Row 3 is the Mazda Atenza of Joe Burrows next to Josh Hardy in his Renault Megane. Row 4 is the K-Tech Racing Subaru WRX of Keireen Thomas and Darren Parker for Team Parker Racing in the Renault Megane. And at the back, of course, is Craig Kellett in his Elite Racing Nissan GTR. Here we go then. This is the final race from Spa with the reverse grid. Mark Nichol is on pole position and away they go. It's a good start for Rob in the Nissan. It's looking a bit tight at the back there, but it seems all fairly clean. So compared to season 1 where we saw a few spinners, it was good for every race. So Stephen Heath has taken the lead then ahead of Mark and Rob. Oh, a bit of contact then. Whoa, they were really lucky not to get caught up and spin out there. And look at the speed that Mark has got already. This is very intense to begin with in comparison to races 1 and 2. Keireen slightly going wide there, but slots are just ahead of Josh. So Heathy still leading. Mark runs very wide there. Tom running wide on the outside of Rob. So Keireen now. If we watch Keireen, as Keireen goes up on, sorry, Tom, watching from Tom, not Keireen. Tom is just behind Rob. Keireen is behind, who's got Craig right beside him. Cars have settled a little bit now. As Josh is just behind Craig, and Craig has done a good job so far on the hards, but struggling to keep Josh at bay, and Josh actually gets past. The two K-Techs are running together. So Heathy running solid at the front then. Heathy with his yellow lights. This is a dusk race. Not quite the night that we saw from Bathurst, but looking really atmospheric here. And there's Mark and Heathy getting quite close here, and actually Rob, look at the move from Rob, dives down on the inside, bit of contact there, but that was great from Rob. And that's Tom or Keireen going wide there. I'm not sure which one it is. Let's have a look on board with Mark as we watch Rob and Heathy fight it out. Oh, contact there. Heathy just, oh, there's 3 of them now going into Eau Rouge potentially. And that's never going to work. So who's it going to be? It's come out as, oh, look at this. There's Rob, there's Mark, and there's Stephen all going into Eau Rouge together. This is fantastic racing. They are so close together. Stephen is literally on the back end of Mark here, kissing the bumper. So Oh, there's a push there from Josh. That was some robust diving, and there was a little bit of contact there. That's Craig and Joe. So Joe's been pushed out. Not sure what happened there. Rob running wide, so Rob has dropped down now. He's just lost the rhythm, and once he slows down, he gets pushed out by almost everyone. So Tom is on the back of Josh now. Josh is up to third. Josh did well in race 2 to get fourth, just unfortunate to make a mistake, and Josh then makes a wide turn there, goes off the circuit, and Tom and Josh are side by side as they go into the next corner. So Josh stays ahead of Tom. On board with Heathy. So Mark, this will be good for Mark for the independence then, as Mike, as we've seen before, is not here at Spa. So when you don't score points, just bagging the points is good enough, but to take a win will give Mark the best opportunity going into Brands. Heath is on the outside. There's an opportunity here. He always run wide a little bit, and he's on the grass, and they touch. So that's Heathy and that's Mark, and it's all a bit. Josh is involved in there as well. So Heathy comes out ahead. Oh, that's Josh that spins. So Josh has spun out. I think there was contact there. Josh gets the forefront of this and actually falls back behind everyone else. Heathy's leading. So Mark, let's go on board with Keireen. Keireen's now into third, fourth. No, Mark has gone ahead now. So Tom runs wide. This is really kicking off now. The two K-Techs are together again. Keireen falls behind Tom, and Mark is still in second. Rob is behind Keireen, not too far behind. And Keireen, crikey, look at that. Keireen, oh, Tom and Keireen have contact. Luckily, they don't cause any problems. Rob's got the speed because Keireen and Tom come together. So Rob now goes past Tom. Keireen is behind Mark, and Keireen hits Mark. So Mark runs wide. Tom runs wide through the S's. This race is getting very messy. So Rob on the back end and nearly spins out Keireen. So Rob involved in this as well now. We will actually get an opportunity to have a look at the replay in a second, and Rob runs wide. So once this settles, we can take a look and see what initially he started with Stephen and Mark. So the two Elite Racings are together. Rob runs wide. So I think we can take an opportunity here now to find out what happened with Heathy and Mark and Josh. Let's watch it from Josh's point of view. There's Heathy, who's running wide. So Heathy started it going on the grass. Yeah, then Josh into Mark. Yep, that's the spin. Lastly, let's watch it from Tom's perspective, and as you can see, all three of them ahead. We'll see Heathy go off in a minute, make the contact. There's the initial contact. Yeah, look, it's just a little bit of a push there by Tom. So unfortunately, Josh has spun out in amongst of all the contact, and Tom was the one to hit Mark, but it was all a bit argy-bargy amongst Mark and Stephen making the initial contact, and where they started it all, and then the chicane. Keireen flashing his lights at Tom, telling him to hurry up, and this is a great opportunity for K-Tech to get some points here to catch up with Parker, because Sam is not racing. So Tom is already in third, so Keireen pushing Tom to hurry up, catch up with Mark and Stephen to see if they can bag a double podium or even a double win. There's Joe running wide. There's Joe and Josh are running together now. So Josh at the back, he did make up some points. Oh, Joe really going too much of a dive there, runs wide. and allows both Josh and Darren to go back ahead and into Eau Rouge again. So Heathy leading on board with Mark. And Mark's got a look at that. Mark's made a good effort and actually takes the lead. So Mark Nichol back at the lead again. He was leading not that long ago before the bit of contact. Mark is determined to take a win after having some really poor results in the last two races, and he's just had a nightmare and it's just not gone his way. We've all had them, and when everything goes against you, it just seems like the world's against you. But that's motor racing for you. You have your ups and your downs. So the two Elliott Racing Nissans racing together, and the two Renaults here, not in the same team, but Parker of Darren is just behind Josh, with Joe Burrows behind. So Mark is still leading. Tom is catching Heathy again. And so there's an opportunity for Tom here. Heathy runs wide. Tom runs wide on the curb into the chicane to go on to lap 5. Can you believe we're already halfway through this race? There's so much going on, it's just gone by with a click of a finger. So let's go on board with Heathy as we go around the first hairpin down to Eau Rouge. Staying on board with Heathy. Oh, and Heathy runs wide. Oh, he's lucky not to go into the wall there, so I think that's going to allow Tom, who gets a better exit, to run up to him, and look at that, already he does. So Tom is right on the back end of Heathy, but Heathy actually catches up with Mark, so Mark's not had a good exit either. So the three of them are literally close here, and Keireen is actually very close as well. So let's watch from Keireen as we see the three of them tussle into the next corners. They are so close. It's more fantastic bumper to bumper action. Oh, a bit of contact there between Tom and Mark and Keireen. So, oh, look at this, bumper cars. So Keireen's lost out, goes wide. So well, the action never stops, and neither does the fender bending and bumper bashing between Tom, Mark and Keireen around those last few corners. So the two Elliots very, very close here. Craig is supporting Rob to push him to get further up. There's Josh in 7th, settled down a bit. Stephen is getting away from this pack, so Keireen again behind Tom. Look how close he's behind him. Keireen, I think, is a lot quicker at this point in time. And Tom runs wide, and there's contact between Tom and Mark. So, and Mark's had to reset, so that's a mistake from Tom. And Tom slows down, right? So Tom's slowing down to allow Mark to go past. So that's allowed the two Elliott Racings and Josh to go past. That's a big mistake from Tom there. So, yeah, not good for Tom and for Mark either. Oh, contact there. So that looks like Josh. Yeah, Josh has been spun out again. So Josh now down to 7th. Josh is not having fun here. Mark on the back end of Rob. So Rob's been promoted to a podium in the last few laps through everyone else getting caught up. Heathy is having some great fun on his own, and Keireen also looking to take a good second if things stay this way. Let's have a little look at the replay and find out what happened with Josh in that spin then. Let's watch Josh find out what happens when he's... so he's nearly... Actually, there was contact with Craig. On board with Josh. Makes a good dive down. Yeah, it's just helped rounds, unfortunately. Let's watch Craig as we watch Josh spinning. Josh was nearly already spinning, but Craig couldn't really go anywhere with that. But unfortunately, he did spin him out. Let's go on board with Mark with this. There's the contact, yeah. It's a shame that it was reset. And there's Tom who slows down. On board with Tom. So... he catches the grass, look. And yeah, so there's no chance that he was going to stop, but just went straight to the back of Mark. Slows down. Yes, unfortunately it was actually Craig who was the main person there. Mark was involved as well with a little bit of contact. There's contact there with Tom and Mark again. But yeah, that's an unusual one for Craig, but it was a bit difficult for him to avoid hitting Josh in all honesty, but it happens. So Tom is on the back of Rob here, Mark on the back of Tom. Josh will be very frustrated for not getting the results that he's looking for. No doubt was looking for a win, and he's on the back end of Craig here. And Josh is just about going past Craig. So Tom is just behind Rob. Keireen is on his way to see if he can catch up with Stephen. It's looking rather close here between Tom and Rob. Josh, Craig, Darren and Joe. Joe on the back of Darren now, see if he can get past him. So Joe and Darren are having a nice fight at the back there. Stephen, look at the gap he's got. So Keireen determined to take him down. And Tom has got a great exit out of Eau Rouge, gets past Rob. But Rob is now going to slip into the slipstream of Tom, and look at that, as we expected, goes on the inside. That was a great move there. Some great racing. Rob stays in third for that podium, but Tom is on the back of Rob here, very close, as Mark is also just as close. So let's go on board with Mark. Looks like Rob's run wide and Tom's got a great exit, so Tom and Rob are very close. Mark and Josh are very close as well. So yet more very close racing here. So let's go on board with Josh. is super close to the back end of Mark. And Mark, at one point, was leading this race. Oh, there's a bit of a push. Yep, that was another aggressive move from Josh there. And takes the dive. Well, he gets the place, but gets it done. And Rob is pushed wide. So Rob is pushed wide and out of third and down to sixth. So what a difference that makes out of that chicane. Oh, huge contact. Wow. So that means, where is Mark? Oh my God. So Rob hugely misses his braking point. Sorry, getting my words mixed up there. And that was an interesting event. So back on board with Mark then. So Mark is very close to Craig and trying to salvage the damage after being punted off big time by Rob. Tom is now behind Josh. So Josh has got ahead of Tom. Back up to third. He's got his podium. And Josh runs wide. We are on lap 8 and still very close here. Keireen is catching with Stephen, so potentially could take a win here if he continues to catch him. Both Tom and Josh running wide. So Tom taking a wider angle. Look at that, Tom is on the outside of Josh. Could he get past? Not at the moment. Mark is further down in fifth with Rob behind, Craig behind him, Joe and Darren at the back. So there's Heathy, there's Keireen who's catching. Tom and Josh are still very close here. Let's watch them as they go through the chicane. Tom running really wide. So there's a move there from Tom. Oh, and he comes to a stop, but allows Josh to carry on ahead. So I think it was a move that he considered not to be quite right. Rob's still on the back of Mark here, so these two have been pretty much tied together for most of the whole of Spa here. So Tom still on the back of Josh. Josh putting those hazards on, and Tom goes on the outside and pushes Josh out, so Tom gets the job done. That's actually allowed Mark to get behind Josh. And Mark runs a little bit wide, Josh runs a little bit wide. So an opportunity for Mark to get past Josh. Further up, let's keep an eye on Keireen and Heathy. And Keireen's just not quite close enough, I don't think. He's done a good job, but Heathy also doing a very good job of staying ahead. So back to this fight then. Let's go on board with Rob. Josh, look how close he is to Tom. There's a little push there. Oh, so yeah, I don't think that's going to work, Josh. And contact there again with Tom. So Tom's going to take third, ahead of Josh. 5th for Mark, 6th for Rob, 7th for Craig, 8th for Joe, 9th for Darren, and of course Keireen takes 2nd and Heath takes 1st. Let's watch and find out what happened here in this chicane on the last lap. Both of them running wide there, and then Josh stays behind Tom. Tom takes 3rd. On board with Tom. Oh, there's the contact, and another push wide. On board with Josh. There's the first initial contact there, and then unfortunately contact second time. A great second win of the season then for Stephen, ahead of Keireen, who was just ahead of Tom in 3rd, literally just ahead of Josh in 4th. Mark was 5th, Rob was 6th, Craig was 7th, Joe was 8th, Darren was at the back, and Gary of course doesn't start again for the second race for the event. What this means then for Brands Hatch at the final, Craig Kellett wins the title with 445 points, as Darren will not be racing at Brands. So Darren's on 362, Tom on 305 in 3rd, 4th is Josh, 1 point just ahead of Mark in 5th, 272. Mike is only 2 points behind Mark in 6th, 270. 7th is Sam, 240. Rob is 8th, 211. 9th is Stephen, 207, only 3 points ahead of Keireen with 204. Joe jumps ahead of Harry, 164th to Joe. Harry's on 159. Gary, Chris and James don't score, 13th, 14th and 15th. In the teams, Elliot win the team's title, 765, as Parker will only have one car, 667 at Brands. K take on 637, so they can take the fight to Parker at Brands Hatch as well. In the independents then, Mark is leading 395, Josh 367, who's only 4 points ahead, of Mike in 3rd with 363. 4th is now Stephen, so Stephen jumps up to 4th with 301. Harry on 259 still, so down to 5th. 6th is Joe, 242. 7th is Gary, 146, and Mark, Chris and James, 57 and 34 respectively, at the back after not racing. Thank you very much for watching. Congratulations to Craig for winning the title, but we will do an official win for him at Brands. We will see you at Brands for the final round 10 of the FeckWrest Touring Car Season 2 in a week's time, so we will see you then. Thank you very much.